Hello everyone and welcome back to Shadow of Mordor. Excuse me, Shadow of War. Their inability to create, or I should say come up with, creative titles is very confusing. It's led to many a mix-up. On my part at least. Okay. So I don't remember where exactly we left off. We've already collected all of the Ithilden for this area. I don't remember if, I'm almost positive Ithilden was in the first game, but I don't remember it being anywhere near this easy to collect. Oh, damn Karagor riders. I'm bailing, actually. I need to get something done in this playthrough. Okay, Dalian, come on, buddy. We don't have time to deal with every single one of the millions of orcs that surround this hellish landscape. The spires and everything over there are very they remind me of an Orlando quite a bit. Very Dark Souls-y vibes from that. And I'm not as much of a sadist as what I used to be, so, or else I'd probably be tempted to play some Dark Souls and upload some videos of that, but my reflexes aren't what they used to be. I used to also be relatively decent at the Arkham games, the stealth portions. Now I am just awful. Did we not finish this mission last time? Apparently not.
Baranor. You can't have run out of orcs in the city.
Now, I used to call myself a really big Dark Souls fan.
The last bodyguard of the war chief leading the siege.
And I still very much like pretty much all of FromSoft's body of work, but I have only ever beaten the first Dark Souls. And it was largely actually done solo. I did have a friend telling me where a few of the secrets were, but I beat it pretty much by myself, and that's not something I can do anymore. A game that hard, I have to have some form of guide to tell me where stuff is, or else I'm just going to
I think we're after the same orc.
Die
The war chief is through his bodyguards.
over and over and over again.
I've had enough.
Follow your lead.
Spiders are everywhere.
I really hope the audio is coming in a little clearer on my part, because the last upload, the volume leaned a little too heavily towards gameplay and not my actual voice. And if you're gonna do commentary in a video, you need to at least make sure you can be heard, or else you're just gonna annoy the piss out of everyone who watches your videos. Not that a whole lot of people are gonna be watching this, but nonetheless. I'm trying to get used to doing videos with commentary in them, because I would really like to make myself into more of a personality on YouTube. I don't even want to really say personality, because I want to just be myself and kind of have people like my opinions for what they are. But I don't think I'm quite interesting enough to really do that. Oh, and speaking of sadism, I also own The Witcher 3, and I've been itching to kind of get another playthrough in on that. And I was wondering, not that really anybody is going to answer this, if anyone would like to see a Witcher 3 playthrough. Oh hell, who am I kidding? I have one subscriber. I don't even know who that person is. Probably one of my friends. You know what? I'll do Witcher 3. And because I am a complete and total... I gave him the command to stealth kill that orc up there, and he decided that he was going to try and climb up there, and I guess sneak up on him that way, but that's not how that worked out, actually. So he just decided to come back down. He's like, okay, alright, well, I clearly cannot get to him this way, so he decided to just throw one of his magic throwing knives. That guy was going to get us killed. Or at least get a bunch of orcs on us that I really don't want to deal with. Because remember how I said I used to be really good at the stealth in Arkham games? I used to be really good at the combat too, which, as a lot of you probably know, the Shadow of Mordor games really heavily borrow from that combat system. And why wouldn't they? They're both published by Warner Bros. Warner Bros. They're all published by the video game divisions of Warner Bros. So Warner Brothers Interactive. I can't believe I couldn't think of that. So it really doesn't surprise me. They're both Warner Bros. Properties. Let's see, heavily damaged by beast attacks. They're both Warner Bros. Properties, but anyways, as I was saying, I used to be insanely good at the combat in the Arkham games, specifically Arkham City era Arkham games. The Arkham City era, you know, in that span of time, I used to be a boss. Not as though it's anything really spectacular, but I used to just go on 400 or 500 combo. Oh, good. Well, good thing is that we're right on top of the bodyguard. So that is pretty good. Actually.
What are you pinkskins doing all the way out here? You must be looking to die.
Probably so, honestly, Mr. Norsko. My concentration is shot, and I don't think I'm going to be much of a challenge for you and your boys. Boy, that Caragor is really fucking annoying. They made those a lot easier to kill this go around. At least it certainly feels that way. Okay, so he's enraged by poison, so is that going to make him harder to kill or even easier? The lighting is effing atrocious. It just looks like I'm actually gonna have to fix that. That just looks bad. Why we never mess with default. Oh, that's so much better. Oh my God. That's the last time I ever try and set the brightness myself. Like, good Lord.
I do not die.
Oh, you're about to, buddy. What was that about not dying there, pal? Excuse me while I munch on some French fries.
I almost feel sorry for the war chief we're hunting. He'll be lonely without his bodyguards.
You'll join them soon enough.
I'm sure that chewing sound is probably the most appealing part of my Let's Play. And that will be it. And I got to give Troy Baker props. He's kind of in the same. He's kind of viewed in the same way as Nolan North is. And both he and Nolan North are fantastic voice actors. But I think the fact that they're in everything, literally everything, causes people to appreciate them a lot less. Because they are really talented. Troy's stint as the Joker in Batman Arkham Origins, that was fantastic, actually. Like, you'd think that nothing good would come out of trying to imitate Mark Hamill's Joker voice, but if anybody could, I don't want to say take Mark Hamill's place, but at least give us a decent substitute, it's Troy Baker. Like, I think that's just how it's gonna be. Let's see, Predator, Poison Tendril. Might as well. I'm investing really heavily into the poison, or not poison, Predator skill tree, because really, we are just getting a lot of that silver stuff. Okay, so I can now apparently summon allies to me at will. This is just, oh, that was a war chief. I'm out of this bitch.
Day after day, it's always hard.
Not a war chief, but that was a captain.
Boy, you have no idea how many of your kind I've killed. I grow weary of this dance.
I like how I was just so damn close to getting out of there. Oh, good lord. I am bailing so fast. Okay. Now, but back to what I was talking about earlier. I think that I would really like to do a playthrough of The Witcher 3 to be more specific. I have The Witcher 2 on Xbox, but as I've come to find out is that the Xbox One's share options aren't anywhere near as fleshed out as the PlayStation 4's. They're not quite as bad as the Switch with its 30 seconds of footage, but 5 minutes whenever, you know, you can record up to 5 minutes of HD content on the Xbox One S as opposed to 60 on the PS4. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows how how a way I can capture more footage on the Xbox One, that would be great, because I would love to do a playthrough of Oblivion for you guys, and maybe even finally start The Witcher 2, which has been in my backlog of games to finish for a while now. These story missions are kind of tedious to do whenever you're also trying to provide commentary. Here I go, getting sidetracked again, anyways. No, but I absolutely adored The Witcher 3. I was by no means good at it. I ended up playing through on just the story, please, difficulty. Which, the systems in place in The Witcher are actually extremely well fleshed out. Like, a lot of thought was put into The Witcher 3's gameplay, and I do feel like it's kind of going to be one of those games that people consider a classic, because even without the context of the first two games, or even really the context of the novels, the story is still really captivating. The world is unique and it's just really fun. It's hard to describe. So even without any actual history with the series prior to the third game, it's still so fun, it's so endearing. The characters are all charming. Some of the romance options are a little cheesy. Not like Mass Effect cheesy, but cheesy nonetheless. it helps that with most of the characters you can romance in The Witcher 3, it's not like you just met this person and you can, you know, seduce them or romance them. It's like the characters have a history with each other, which I guess is kind of counterintuitive to what I said about not really needing any prior history with the series to appreciate it. But my main point is that the relationships feel more natural. Not like Mass Effect, where it's like, hey, that alien is pretty hot, let's fuck her. Which people are probably going to hate me for this, but I absolutely hated the Asari in Mass Effect. Like, that's just how I feel, honestly.
And now I'll beat the ever-living schrock out of you.
Tally was honestly and more appealing, even though
Clear off and try again.
she's kind of can kind of be a bit of a cunt in some playthroughs. Especially if you're like, hey, I want to side with the Geth, and you don't have the, I forget what stupid parameters you had to meet in order to make peace between the Geth and the Quarians, but I remember it being very frustrating. Mass Effect 3 is my second favorite game in the series. Mass Effect 2 is my favorite simply because its story is better. And now, mind you, I'm not one of the people who ranted and raved about Mass Effect 3's ending being quote-unquote terrible. But I can definitely see why it might have frustrated people. It didn't. There wasn't any, like, might to it. That the ending frustrated a lot of people. And I really didn't like the precedent it set whenever BioWare actually released, like, the extended cut DLC or whatever. I understand that Mass Effect 3 might have been rushed out the door, but what if that was honestly the ending they wanted for the series? Honest, you know, and all of that ranting was kind of really hurtful to them, and I don't want to sound like, you know, I don't want to make it seem like consumers' feelings are invalid. But at the same time, why should they have to alter their work? At least on the narrative level, simply because people complained a lot? I don't know. Return to Shelob to learn more of the threats to Minas Ithil.
You put too much faith in the spider. She only shows you what she wants.
Then tell me what you wish to see.
Minas Ithil's still standing.
All is so selfless. Nothing more. We saw some troubling things last time, didn't we?
I want to know my fate with the Nazgul.
Be careful what you ask for, Ranger. With prophecy comes torment.
cannot think of who she reminds me of. It's almost like Kate Beckinsale, but not.
I know what you fear, Tally. Shelob's vision is not cast in stone.
The Witch King.
It is the power of domination. The ring can enslave the minds of men.
What can be done?
Sacrifices must be made, and many will be lost. But
I'm sorry for being so silent, guys. This is actually
we must hope
pretty
to
interesting to me.
no matter what the cost.
I'm not a big Lord of the Rings like buff, but Middle Earth kind of made the lore and everything a lot more palatable to me.
Lives can be saved.
And I know that a lot of people regard this little spin-off franchise as kind of just like bad fan fiction. The same way a lot of people looked at
Right now, this one war chief is the most immediate threat to Minas Ithil. And will not stand by
the
while
Force
Baron and his
Unleashed
men
Star
risk
Wars
their lives
games.
to take him down.
And I guess in a lot of ways I can understand the people's issues with both series. But oh, that's a good guy. Prior to Disney taking over the reins for Star Wars, people still care too much about what's canon and what's not canon.
I'm here to help. This war chief you're after, he's not one to be taken lightly.
We've brought down war chiefs before, Ranger. But I won't turn down an extra sword.
And we shall take him down together. I'll take out his archers first. Your men move in after I've cleared the path.
See. I'm actually gonna have to end this here, guys, because I've got a rule set for 30 minutes on these things. It's a personal rule. I can barely fill out the 30 minutes, so I'm not going to up the time limit to 60 minutes until I feel like I can more confidently fill out a video with commentary. I want to master 30-minute videos first, and then I'll consider that. And maybe even then, only for certain games. We'll probably see my first 60-minute video whenever I start the Witcher 3 playthrough. That just makes the most logical sense to me, because Witcher 3 is a long, in-depth game. Okay. Well, as usual, guys, thank you for watching. If you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm saying things that someone with actual subscribers would say. Boy, the self-deprecation is probably not very appealing to people either. Boy, at any rate, if you're out there watching this for whatever reason, thank you for your time.